you, we're diving into some pretty niche territory, even for us.
Definitely.
Legal tech.
Yeah.
We're talking deposition summaries, how law firms make sure those summaries are airtight, especially when they're handled, outside the firm.
It's such a critical part of legal work. I mean, these summaries, they can really make or break a case, right? So understanding those quality control measures, that's essential.
Absolutely. Now, for anyone who doesn't live and breathe legal documents, let's break it down a bit. What exactly is a deposition summary, and why is accuracy so crucial?
Okay, so think of a deposition as like a pre-trial thing, right?
Yeah.
Testimony under oath, but it happens outside the courtroom. Lawyers use it to gather info from witnesses. Now imagine trying to make sense of hours of these recordings. Summaries, they boil down those crucial points into something digestible, something lawyers can actually use to build their case. But here's a catch if a detail gets missed, or worse, misinterpreted in that summary. Well, it could mean the difference between, a fair outcome and a complete miscarriage of justice.
Yeah, no pressure on whoever is putting those summaries together, right?
Right.
It's a lot of weight on their shoulders. It makes sense why law firms are laser focused on accuracy, but I understand outsourcing those summaries is becoming more and more common these days. Are we talking like a handful of firms doing this, or is it more widespread?
Oh, it's definitely becoming more widespread, no question. Outsourcing deposition summarization, it's a trend, for sure. And I think a big reason is efficiency. However, and this is a big however, there are concerns. There's a recent survey by the Legal Marketing Association. They're a pretty prominent organization for legal professionals.
Yeah.
Anyway, they found that over half of law firms are, well, let's just say they're not exactly thrilled about the quality of some outsourced legal services. And yeah, that includes summarization.
Wow. Over half. That's a pretty significant chunk of the legal world voicing some doubts. So you've got this dilemma, wanting that efficiency of outsourcing, but needing to be 100% confident in the quality of the work. So how are law firms tackling this? How are they making sure those summaries hit the mark, even when they're handled externally?
They're getting strategic about it, which I love. Okay, think of it like this. If you're hiring a contractor, like for a major home renovation, you wouldn't just hand them the keys and say good luck. You'd lay out your expectations.
You got to make sure they know exactly what you want every step of the way. So how's that work with, legal tech with these deposition summaries?
Law firms are getting, well, let's just say they're not messing around. They're laying down the law, so to speak.
Okay, I like it.
First off, they are incredibly, and I mean incredibly specific about what they want. We're talking crazy detailed guidelines. I'm talking format, level of detail, even the specific legal terms they want to see. No ambiguity.
Yeah, like a legal dictionary explosion on the page. It makes sense, though, right? Given how much rides on these summaries. But okay, how do you go beyond just writing out expectations? How do they make sure those guidelines actually translate into top-notch work in practice?
Think of it like, have you ever heard of try before you buy?
Sure, yeah.
It's like that. A lot of firms now, they're requiring these trial periods, or they'll ask for sample summaries before they commit to anything long-term with a summarization service. Kind of a way to, test the waters, see if the service can really walk the walk.
Oh, okay, so it's like a test drive.
Yeah.
But for legal documents, I like it. Seems like a smart move to, reduce some of that risk. But let's say a firm finds a service and they're acing that trial period. Everything looks good. What's in place to make sure that quality sticks around, that it's not just a one-time thing?
That's where things get really interesting, because it's not just about, finding a decent service. It's about what happens after that contract is signed.
Okay, so what are we talking about here?
Serious quality control. And I'm not talking about just a quick glance over. I'm talking robust internal review systems. Some services, they even have software for this. Like, they'll use it to flag any inconsistencies or potential errors.
Wow, so it's like a fine-tooth comb going through these things.
You got it. Multiple reviewers, they'll go over each summary, often at different stages, before it ever even gets close to the law firm. This layered approach, that's key, because it ensures a really thorough review.
It's about catching those, those little things that could become a big deal down the road.
Exactly. And it's funny you should mention that, because it reminds me of that Journal of Legal Studies report.
The one about how using remote summarization, but with good quality control, led to better case outcomes.
That's the one. And you know what they found was key? A continuous feedback loop. It's not a one-and-done situation. It's an ongoing conversation between the law firm and the summarization service, just to make sure those summaries are always on point, meeting their needs.
So it's more of a partnership then, not just a, here's the work, send us the invoice. kind of deal.
Exactly. It's about communication. It's about being willing to adapt. And most of all, it's about that shared commitment to getting it right. Because at the end of the day, those summaries, they're the foundation of a case. They influence legal strategy. They guide those cross-examinations. And yeah, they can have a real impact on a client's life.
It's a huge responsibility. It's amazing, though, to see how technology and human expertise are coming together to handle it all. It makes you think, though, all this emphasis on quality control, is it really just about, efficiency
Yeah.
and winning cases? Or is there something more to it? I feel like we're about to get philosophical.
Maybe a little. It's just, think about it this way. Like even a tiny, tiny error in one of these summaries, it could snowball.
Mm.
And we're not just talking about, a bad day in court. We're talking about someone's life, their future. It's a powerful reminder that even with all the tech, all the automation, that human element, that commitment to accuracy, to ethical responsibility, that's what matters.
It's almost like there's a moral obligation built into the whole process.
Exactly. It's about fairness. It's about making sure justice is served. It's about realizing that every single detail matters when people's lives are on the line.
It makes you really appreciate all that unseen work, all that effort that goes into upholding those standards, and not just in law either.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Medical diagnoses, financial audits, it goes on and on. That need for meticulous review, for quality control, it's everywhere. And it's vital. It's about trust. It's about accountability. It's about doing things the right way every single time.
It really makes you stop and think about all those processes, the ones we never even see, but that affect our lives in a million different ways.
It's a testament to human diligence, really, to asking the right questions and to striving for excellence, even when no one's watching over your shoulder.
So as we wrap up our little deep dive here into the world of legal tech and these deposition summaries, what's the one thing you really want our listeners to take away from all of this?
Simple. In a world obsessed with efficiency, never, ever underestimate the importance of quality control. Doesn't matter if you're a high-powered law firm outsourcing your work or just someone navigating life. Understanding those quality assurance measures, making them a priority. It's a game changer. It's about finding the right people, building solid systems, and creating a culture where precision and excellence are valued.
Where it's not just about getting things done quickly, but about getting them done right, because that's how it should be.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I want to give a huge thanks to our expert for shedding light on this often overlooked but essential part of the legal world. And to all our listeners out there, as always, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious and remember the details matter. That's where you find the good stuff.